I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you told your dad that you love him before?
I will not even want to be as punctual as he is.
How was it being in a house that is overly, should I say, populated?
Sometimes you hear, nah, this person was flogged mercilessly as a child, and
Man and woman, the way they handle children are two different things. Women are seen as the Messiah.
I don't believe you only live once, though. I believe you live every time, you only die once. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Forge with Ikenna. I am your co-host, Leo, and I'm here with my guy, Ikenna.
Guy, the way you call my name, Ikenna, you need to put the gravity on that name. It's a traditional name. I'm a titled man.
Sorry, I apologize. And I'm here with my host,
Yeah.
Ikenna.
Yeah, you're welcome. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. How's the weather?
Yeah, the weather has been fine. I mean, it's hot, but we are putting everything together to make it cold.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, so today we actually were discussing on what we're going to discuss, and we thought about it that looking at Nigerians,
Yeah.
we have similar upbringing. Sometimes when we talk about how life has been, growing up, and we're like, okay, let's just discuss how life has been, growing up in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's a nice topic, honestly. Getting to know how you were brought up,
Yeah.
those values that kept you going, those upbringing, those people in your life that influence your decisions is something that will be very interesting. And trust me, I'm sure that you have so much. I'm sure you have so much to let us to give us.
So I think I would want to start by asking you,
Okay.
do you think your environment, your upbringing shaped you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that shape people is your environment, your friends, your school, churches, those places that gives you information, even social media. So definitely my environment is one of those things that shaped me, and it is still shaping me. In fact, that's why people always say it's best to, if you have time, change your environment, because environment has a way of, bringing you into another light, whether it is a dim light or a bright light. So environment shaped, and it's still shaping. Yeah.
Because sometimes we discuss these things, and you always have to ask. Now, aside the environment, talking of the people, how was it like growing up? Family, your siblings, parents, and all that.
Now the thing is that I was in a family of 6, including my parents were 8.
Okay.
So, I mean, the house is always full, and my dad is that man that is always abreast. He's always abreast at, making sure that everything goes accordingly, even if he was not, to some extent, overly available, but his presence alone was always available. So, that was it. The thing is that, I've been to your house. I've been to your house, and I've seen so much. And for every time I come to your house, there's always a new face. There's always a new face. Like, sometimes I used to wonder how many people are there in this family, because there are always new faces in the house. And you always address them as, this is my brother, this is my brother, this is my brother, this is my brother. Yeah. And for that reason, I don't really know who really is your brother.
Well, so, we are all brothers and sisters at the end of the day.
Now, how do you manage to have so much a large family?
Well, I think for mine, it's similar to yours, a family of 6, including our parents.
Really?
But we have always had extended family.
Wow.
Either extended by blood or extended by relationship with my parents.
Wow.
So we have this thing where, and I think that also shaped how I see, things, see life, see people as well. Because in growing up, we had, people come in, go. We had people that are not nuclear family, living with us. and staying in both our house and our compound too as well.
So,
And
so how was it being in a house that is overly, should I say, populated?
well,
How was it being? I mean, I'm sure that there are cases where you were tired, or you were a bit tired of or is that not like that for your case?
not really. For us, I think it was everything in life, has its pros and cons. Sometimes availability of a lot of people gave that you were never alone. There was always a lot is always going on. There is the fun. Everyone is talking. Everyone is just gisting. That's communal. This upbringing we had that. So like I would say maybe the con was the fact that there were people. So to get things done sometimes, not only me they do this thing, like there's someone else, and all. But like it was a thing of joy. There was no. Sometimes you hear people saying, when people plenty for house, there might be fights. And for us, either everyone we see each other as brothers, sisters, as family. Yeah. So like whatever happens is just similar to the normal listen, siblings, quarrel once in a while. But aside that, it was actually a good thing.
The thing is, my dad is an African man. Like he's too African. Okay. Sometimes I want to say he's overly African. So my dad is not that man that would want to entrust his family to someone that he just knew, or someone that is not family. So we didn't have that exposure of probably living with people that are not related to us, or people that are far from family members. So my family are just people that I see every day. In fact, he had problems that we had to go live with some of our parents, for some of our relatives, because he just can't find a way to allow his children being treated by someone else that is not family, especially someone that he does not trust.
Well, I think at the end of the day, trust is necessary and important. For me, growing up in a compound like mine, where everyone is seen as family, not just those living under this indirect roof, but even the tenants living in our compound. Our compound is so communal that you can give birth today, drop your child in the middle of the compound, and leave.
And leave to where?
Wherever you want to go. You just know that, yes, there is someone that will take you. You don't have to have that burden alone. That's the thing. Like you don't have to the weight of the world is not just on you.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
That is something that I even have. That's why sometimes I have a problem with how Nigeria, is going these days, because someone is doing something wrong, everyone is just not my own. Like, bro, we are supposed to look out, for each other. So for me, it was that kind of thing where, we had that community, had a small village in the, the compound where everyone looked at each other as family. We eat together, celebrate together, cry together. Everything we do was together in unity. We had, and we still have it, because almost everyone in the compound are people that we have basically spent all our lives together, being born together. We lived together, and
so what are those measures that you get to bring those people together? Because I mean, you just said that most of the people that live with you there, they are not family, and some are distant families, some are village people, some are neighbors, so. What are those measures, or what do you put in place? What do you look out for bringing those group of persons?
I'm not the one looking out for it. Okay. I think I do not know my dad, how he filters all that. I believe maybe he has a system for that. But we've had people come and go. And I think we have different races, different tribes, different villages, religion and all. And it's just this type of thing whereby it just works, because for us, we see each other as family. If you come, that is why I believe whenever you come to the house, you are not treated as he's just a visitor. A visitor, once you come, you stay there for even up to 10 minutes. You are being involved in things. You get to feel that love of a family.
So the thing is, why growing up in my own side, we didn't get to. In fact, sometimes we were craving this part where we have to go visit our uncles, visit our aunties. Well, in as much as we had some of those experiences, but they were not
a lot.
Yeah, they were not a lot. I can't even count how many times I've left my house because that was how we were brought up, and that saved us from so much. Like when we were growing up, we always hear how some persons were molested by their uncles. All those funny stories about relatives that happened. And then it was just something far from us. In fact, we didn't just experience that. If you are not seeing your dad every day, you are seeing your mom every day, you are seeing your brothers, your sisters. So sometimes our distant relative can come in, just spend a few nights, proceed with their life. And then the same thing also can come to us, right? So we can go and just spend a few nights and then come back. But there was never a time where, in fact, I'm talking to you like, I don't even know my relatives. That's how bad.
Now, growing up like that, do you prefer such a gathering, or would you have preferred if you had access to a lot more of your family members?
Honestly, growing up, I think with that understanding, and I would still want to prefer being enclosed to your family, because we've seen so much that has happened to relatives. I mean, there are relatives that you should bring close, very nice, and I have those relatives. But there are also relatives that they should not come close because they don't have the same ideologies. They don't have the same understanding, and you don't want to expose your children to such beliefs or such understanding, because to some extent, what tells on your children. There are some parents that they are overly careful on the kind of children that hangs around with their children. Because friends, because ideas pass from the parents down to the children, and when you are not careful, your child or your children that don't curse, and you don't curse in the house, and then all of a sudden
you ask, where did you learn that from?
Where did you learn that from? Not knowing that it's just somebody you're trying to bring close to you. So I would prefer that encloseness.
But isn't that, even in Nigeria, we always say it's the beauty in diversity.
Okay.
In the fact that we are all different.
Yeah.
That's what makes it beautiful. That different people, different ideologies, we come together and still make it work.
Yeah, I mean, different. You see, in as much as we are cultural people, we would also want to check the mindset, because I'm not just that kind of guy that wants to blend with tradition and culture. I always check the motive behind those traditions. So I'm not a traditional man. I always tell people I'm not a
you're not a traditional man.
I'm not a traditional man. I'm an African man. So
you're not a traditional African man?
No.
You're just an African
because
man.
tradition changes, and there are so many traditions that I don't sit well with. And if you want to say you're a traditional man, passing those traditions, in fact, there are many traditions that are currently on suspension, not necessarily because they didn't work as at the time, but because, we can't just adapt. It doesn't sit well with this our modern age. Now, this is the thing, right? You were in a house and your dad picked all these people. I don't know where he picked them from, but he picked all these people and you guys were cool with it. Was there a time where there were contention? Now, this is what I mean by contention. I mean that you've been in the house, your siblings that you guys are related by blood. Was there something like a strife, something that's like an edge between you and them in terms of how your parents treated both of you?
Well, I think I said it before. The way we were brought up together.
So you guys ate in the same pot?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big food.
Genuinely, the way our house is structured till now, we have settings whereby we cook and then we call, come and eat.
Wow.
Someone else can cook. Not that you don't have food, but just that whole setting whereby our parents could even come, our dads will sit together.
Yeah.
My mom will bring food, another wife will bring food, another one will bring food, and everyone
That's the typical African.
Yeah, we'll start with this one. We are done with this food.
Wow.
We'll drop the empty plate, pick the next one. Everyone just eats together. So, like, for us, I don't think there was no different feeling.
Yeah.
The way my dad treated us is same way other dads that were present. We all we had a shared upbringing where you could even sleep in each other's houses. Not that you do not have your space, but it's just that love and family.
Speaking of your dad, because I've met your dad, and your dad is a lovely man. Like, see, you guys need to check out Leo's dad, because Leo's dad is very welcoming, and I've spoken to him. He knows me, I know him, we know each other. So now this brings me to my first question. Is it my first question? So, what are those ideas that your dad is currently running on? I'm sure that, you live in the same roof, obviously. So there are some ideas that he has executed, and you feel that this is something I need to pass to my children.
I think number one thing that I'd say I really pick and would I actually use in my life right now is punctuality.
Oh, guy.
Yes, my dad is someone who is punctual to a fault. That I will not even want to be as punctual as he is, because he's the kind of person that even to be punctual, you can decide to even relinquish some things just to be punctual. But definitely, I try my best to always be punctual at activities, gatherings, meetings.
See, Leonard used to be punctual at 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level. We started slacking. Now like this, Leonard is not punctual, but
I am punctual. You are the problem. Because when you are late too much, you put me at a junction where I have to come and wait for 2 hours before you come? So why not wait and at least be there 30 minutes before you come?
Okay.
Instead of waiting 2 hours. But let's leave that aside. For you, when it comes to the upbringing as well, what traits would you say, you've picked from your parents that this is what I want to?
That would be so. There are so many. Number one, I would say that my dad is one of is the man that has the most integrity. I don't know how to speak the English. Is the most.
He's the man of integrity.
Yeah, he's the man of integrity.
We can go and verify.
As in, it was so bad that I took a phone to school. My dad called the principal to tell him that his son
is with the phone.
Bro, can you imagine? His son is with the phone. The man was even arguing. No, my son your son is not with phone. No, we search his bag. God, go and check. That boy is with the phone. They called me. Where's the phone? I was like, which phone? Not doing that. My dad has given me up. So that was how bad it was. He is a man of integrity, and that is one thing that I love about him. He's somebody that once he stands for you, he knows that he's standing for the right person and for the right reason. And that's something that I really hold in high esteem, because, we lack people of integrity nowadays. For that reason, people no longer value people of integrity, because, money is everywhere now. So they believe that with money you can buy. But there are some certain people money cannot buy, and that is one of them. Yeah, so for that I'll give it to him. Man of integrity. Yeah.
So let me ask now, we've talked about this is what you are picking from him. Is there anything that you're like, maybe this one I will not pick?
I think I'll have to give more people a chance, because my dad didn't do that. My dad was overly careful, and maybe I'll see reasons why he was overly careful, but he is overly careful. He's careful about the people he speaks to. If we are at the village, he doesn't eat any other food apart from the one my mom brings. So he's overly careful. And sometimes I want to be like, there was an incident that happened. We traveled in the village, right? My brother went to go and buy granuts in one place, one shop. not knowing that shop, there's a shrine behind that shop. This is a true life story. He bought that granite, ate that granite. This guy slept from 9 to like after 1. 9 in the morning to like after 1. We were almost thinking that, is this guy not dead or what? So it was that time that it dawned on us that, bro, you don't eat anything in anywhere you go, and you just have to be careful, because this life is one. So in as much as I want to give people that chance, I would also want to be careful. Make person not go die, bro. It's very important.
I don't believe you only live once, though. I believe you live every time, you only die once. But
that's true.
I think when it comes for me, I think I might want to reduce the. It's good to be welcoming. I do it all the time, but maybe reduce the beats.
Now, this is the thing, right? I want to ask you a question. Would you rather that your son, your son is scared of you, your son fears you, that he cannot mess up, than you are so close to him that when he messes up, he can come and tell you?
For me, I'd say, at the end of the day, I'm your parents.
Okay.
So there has to be that, yes, we can have a relationship, but we must always remember, I am the parent, you are the child.
So there's no friendship?
The friendship is when we are in the later days. For now, from the tender age, we should know that I am the father, you are the son or the daughter.
The problem we are having now is that some parents that were not friends when they were younger to their children are now wanting to be friends with their children now. And now that has bring people in a situation where they are now strangers, their son and their parent, their son and father, rather.
I hear you. And at the same time, that's why I talk about that. For me, I think it has to do with the balance. Because you have to understand that, yes, we live in an age and time where disciplining your child now is being seen as assault. So I do not know. We were brought up in a certain way that helped. Sometimes you hear, this person was flogged mercilessly as a child, and that's why he turned out to be stubborn. For me, I believe it's a thing of balance. Maybe the parents or whoever overdid.
But I don't think flogging can make somebody stubborn.
No, it did. I remember back then in primary, secondary school, there are some people that they're like, how many times they don't flog me for house? No amount of beat. So
they never flog them.
They are not scared of the cane anymore.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want to do. They are stubborn to a fault. So whatever they do, they know no problem. So I feel like you can discipline your child, but how you discipline, when you discipline, and then at the same time, you should also make use of your words.
But you did not answer my question. Would you rather?
No, that's why I'm like,
okay.
You should understand. That's why you find that balance. Remember, when I say you remember I'm your father, is you should have that. You know how you respect. I will use the word instead of fear. I will say respect, where you know where you're coming from. You know the kind of upbringing you are being raised with. So you should know that, because even till now, I personally use it. There are certain things you do that you will not even be able to open your mouth to say, I did this. Why? Because of the way you were brought up.
Now, the thing is, I brought this conversation many years back. And then women, I was having this conversation with ladies.
Yeah.
So they were like, I would rather that my children, we are close, that they would tell me when they mess up. Now, man and woman, the way they handle children are two different things. Now, women are seen as the Messiah. Oh, when daddy flogs me or when daddy disciplines me, you run to your mom and your mom receives you. So for that reason, modern men now don't want to take that position anymore. So they would rather want to, the man would rather want to be at the receiving end, so that the child will not grow up to start hating. Yeah. Now, in this note, or to me, right, I would want that I put my child in a situation where I will be feared. Now, it's funny, but yes.
With the way you were talking, I was thinking you would go with the fact that you want to be friends.
No, let them fear me. Now, the fear I'm talking about is not the fear where you can't have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not the fear where you can't.
You're a tyrant.
Yes, no, it's not that what I'm talking about. It's not the fear where you can't relate with your children. The fear is the fear that you have for God. It's like a reverence. You know that if you mess up, Dad is going to come. And when he comes heavy. Because me, I can flog very well. He comes heavy. So when you don't, you see, when you are raising boys, that's why women alone can't do the job of raising men or raising boys, because there are some times where you need to bring the lion within you, to bring out the lion in them. Yeah, you need to bring the lion within you to bring out the lion, and and it doesn't come with speaking to them. You need to show them that, hey, you are a man, you are a sheep, you are a lion, you are not a sheep, and then that is where the hardness comes. But that doesn't depict the fact that you can't relate with them, you can't know what's wrong with them. So where that balance comes in is the ultimate.
Were you flogged?
Of course, bro.
Do you have a near-death flogging experience?
We don't want to have that conversation, but I almost died. In fact, it was like my life flashed before my eyes, and that experience was not nice. But honestly, I learned. In fact, those disciplines that happened actually brings me, or is still bringing me, to the man that I am. If those disciplines were not there, the discipline and the help of God, bro, by now I suppose don't become one Curtis where they don't arrest. Because I don't go this successful.
For me, I always tell people that at the end of the day, if you do it right, yes, we were disciplined as children, but we still have a very good, cordial relationship with our parents.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you told your dad that you love him before?
I think with actions, definitely.
What do you mean with actions? Have you told that like a word? Have you told him in words?
I don't know. For me, I'm not someone that is expressive with words. So I don't think I don't know.
So how do you tell him in action? It's called good grades. You do the homework. You clean your house. You do the house chores.
Part of me. Well, I don't have you.
Okay, I'm not, but we'll do it today.
We'll do it. Okay. It's a good thing. You have to tell.
No, the thing is best that we have. You see, we always think that our parents will always be around. They will always be there forever. And then when we don't have these things, we lose
definitely.
All right.
We are getting to that age.
Yeah.
Where you know that life is fickle.
All right, so guys, just let us know if you have told your dad that you love him, or how do you express love to your dad. It's very important to us. Put it on the comment section and let us know what you think about this podcast, and tell us the next topic to have, and we'll bring it right to your screen.
I think I would also want to know, maybe if anyone has a near-death flogging,
please put us yes, it's very important.
What has happened? What did you do? And what was the repercussion of that action? And let's see how it goes. All right,
it is a wrap from The Forge with Ikenna, and I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Yeah.
Ngwanu, bye-bye.
All right, see you again.